What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and this video is to ask the major number one question about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua on who really wants to fight. I understand the art of war. A lot of business gets conducted using these same principles, the art of war, where you have a counter offer. Certain other business strategies, but that's really beside the point. Okay, I mean, that's a major point, but for us as fight fans, I think we get confused or get carried away with who wants what and why. We just really want to see the fight, right? So if you look at it during a standpoint of who really wants it, who really cares more about fighting the actual fight, or who gets more money and why they should get more money? You know what I mean? Because it looks like, to break it all down for those who don't know, Deontay Wilder was the first one to call out Anthony Joshua, okay? And he was very vocal, he was aggressive, and he was very adamant on how he wanted Joshua. I want Joshua. Don't wait, make the date. That was his thing. That was his slogan. Don't wait, make the date. So a lot of things were said on different boxing interviews. Deontay Wilder say, hey, I just want to fight. I'll take whatever, if whatever is rewarded back to me in the rematch. So hearing him say that gives you the idea that Deontay Wilder was expecting a rematch. He was expecting at least 2 fights out of this saga. You know what I mean? It wasn't just going to be 1 fight. So I don't know if he was assuming that he would have to go to the UK to fight Joshua. If he beats Joshua, then Joshua will come over here, or, if Joshua beats him, he comes over, whatever, how it would go. But Joshua agreed while being interviewed, okay, I'll put the source below, that's no problem, but it won't be 50-50. Then we'll go back again and renegotiate a deal. And a deal was offered to Deontay Wilder. It was for $12.5 million flat, okay? And Deontay Wilder didn't respond, okay? He didn't respond to the offer. He responded to the media. He responded socially, and saying that he was offended by the deal, meaning it was a bullshit deal, okay? So then a lot of things went back and forth. A lot of different people gave their assessment or their opinion about what happened. And then a whole week goes by, right? Now, that week goes by. We had some great fights this weekend. And as of Wednesday, Deontay Wilder emails Eddie Hearn, okay? And it was a counter offer. And the email was in form of a counter offer, like, hey, I'll offer Anthony Joshua $50 million with no rematch clause in the U.S. if he fights. Because Anthony Joshua said on record, like, that he would, if you give me $50 million, I'll fight you tomorrow. So Deontay's camp, I guess, rebutted and sent Eddie Hearn, which is the promoter of Anthony Joshua, his counter offer. And that's what the offer was: $50 million in the U.S., no rematch clause, and 50% of the revenue. Okay. Well, at that point, everybody went crazy because now there's a counteroffer. So the negotiations are starting to at least, fly back and forth over the pond, right? So we had that. As of now, it is after 12 o'clock Friday. Okay, I'm in Central Time, right? So they gave a 48-hour period for them to respond. I'm sorry, I left that out. Okay, it was also a 48-hour limit to respond for the 12.5 million also. So basically, Deontay Wilder's camp and management done the same thing with the counteroffer, gave them a deadline. So since Eddie Hearn has read it, I did my research on Eddie Hearns, and he wanted to know if the money was actually there, because, it's kind of like, where is this money coming from? Really, us as fight fans shouldn't care where the money's coming from. But, if the fight is legitimate and the contract is legitimate, because it was in the form of an email. I don't know if there was an attachment and the attachment was the actual contract of the email. All Eddie Hearn stated is that he read an email from Deontay Wilder. Okay. Not Shelly Feakle or Al Heyman or any of these guys that manage Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder himself, right? So I got to clear that up. So since that has been stated, Eddie Hearns was more what I could extract from that interview that he had about it. He's definitely interested if the money's there, but the venue is important, meaning the place is important of where they fight. So to me, it looked like, because he said the place is extremely important. The money is important, but he said the place is extremely important. So that, to me, that might sound like Eddie Hearn's way of saying, well, if we don't fight in the UK, we won't make a deal, right? But, again, he said a lot, and that was really on his grounds. And the reasoning behind that, for those who don't know, Anthony Joshua holds 4 out of 5 belts. Okay, Deontay Wilder has the last belt, which is the WBC, which is a high-ranking belt. Okay, but Anthony Joshua established a certain foundation. Okay, in the UK, he got the belt from Klitschko, he got the belt from Parker, he got the belt from Martin. Okay, all these belts, he fought for these belts, after Tyson Fury had to give those belts up, and Vladimir and them fought one hell of a fight last year for one of those crowns. So everything has happened in the UK. So from a business standpoint, I can understand Eddie Hearn arguing with that, but it seems like, to me, both guys have doing the same thing. They're making like the Art of War like rebuttals on how they do things, and they're mirroring each other on, okay, well, hey, you got 48 hours to do this over here, says Joshua's camp, and then Deontay Wilder's camp sends another counter offer and says, hey, you got 48 hours, I'll give you the 50 million like you said you wanted, but then you got 48 hours to do that too. Oh yeah, there's no rematch clause, and the no rematch clause, though, it looks like a quick steal if you only want it here. Because if it could be negotiated with, okay, let's say there is a rematch, or there wasn't a rematch clause, but it'll be in the UK. Let's see if those go together, because it seems like, to me, that's a strategy on the Wilder's camp. If they go in and upset Joshua and keep all the belts, they don't have to fight him again for the belts. Then therefore America, the U.S. will have all the belts. So we'll have a undisputed American heavyweight. You know what I mean? And if it goes the distance, which it could, I don't see it going the distance, but it could, the advantage would be, if it was on American soil, it would be for Wilder, right? So, and vice versa for, Anthony Joshua. So, but the no rematch clause, that is kind of like a, you can look at it so many different ways. Is it a quick grab on, favoritism if it was over here, because that's one of the stipulations from the last negotiation from Wilder's camp? Or Is it just a sign of confidence that Deontay Wilder can knock him out and don't have to worry about a rematch clause? You know, it would seem to me, though, you would want to give someone a rematch, especially if this money is on the table, because it started wording, Deontay Wilder's camp refused the 12.5 million because their claim was that this fight would be over $100 million or up to $100 million. So why leave all that money on the table? That's understandable. I get that too. I'm not a biased guy. I'm not here for one person and the other person. I just tell you what I think. Well, for one, we don't know if it's $100 million. We don't know that. But we don't know how much it'll sell either, right? So I can't say that it is. I can't say that it ain't, because it hasn't happened. No negotiation has taken place. The venue is important. They want it in the States, of course, for all the, the closer gambling odds. It would do really well in Texas Stadium, the new Texas Stadium there in Irving. That would be hot. I could see it at Wilmington. Wembley would be a good one, but nonetheless, the no contract clause is I don't know. It could show confidence, but you could also look at that like, well, you could be cutting yourself in the foot if you get knocked out. Then there's no rematch clause. So it's basically these guys are just doing this business back and forth and transferring information, and I've went through the whole thing. A lot of guys, I've got a lot of comments. I appreciate the comments that I've got, the positive ones. For the ones that think that I'm just because I was told a lot of stuff, man. I was called a coon. I was called an AJ Dick Rider, and I'm like, well, this is how I see it, man. I'm an American, okay? So, but at the end of the day, if I see something fishy, if Wilder wanted to fight AJ that bad, he would have took the money the first in, no questions asked. You see all these other fights that it was so easy to get done. I mean, some of them took a little while because, the AJ and Parker fight took a while. It didn't just happen overnight. So, we can't expect this fight to happen overnight. You know what I mean? But I have no problem with the counteroffer with Deontay Wilder. Not everything. The only thing I do have a problem with is his no rematch clause. See, that is, I don't know if that'll be necessarily a deal breaker because it's like winner takes all and there's no return, right? There's no sequel, but I don't know because, that just depends on who will win. But if Deontay Wilder feels that he can really win, he can say, hey, there's no rematch clause because I'm going to knock you out the first time. So it could be a sign of confidence. Then again, these are just possibilities on how these guys are conducting business and why they decide to do things. Is the money really there? That's another question. I heard one of the best things and the best questions that I ever heard was, well, why the hell how could Deontay Wilder offer Eddie Hearns, which is the promoter of Anthony Joshua, $50 million when he never made that amount of money? Where is it coming from? You know what I mean? Again, we're fans, but that is a question to ask because Deontay Wilder's never made that type of money. I would be pissed off if you're offering this guy the type of money being on my stable, and now I'm never getting that type of money. If you believed in me and you believe this fight is going to be how big it is, right? If it's going to be $100 million, why am me, Deontay Wilder, the other fighter, because it takes two to tango, why am I not getting $50 million? Why are you just giving it to Joshua just because he said so? You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I would be pissed off about that too. If Deontay Wilder's problem or second or only problem was about finance and money. So you got to kind of look at it like that too, because you're like, well, damn, you're offering AJ this money across the pond. Hell, I ain't never got that type of money. Why are you going to give him that type of money? Because he just wanted you to, and he's making these demands or whatever. Hell, I'm Deontay Wilder. Hell, you going to give me $50 million. So you know how that it could go so many different ways. But one thing is apparent, we will see by today what happens, and as soon as it happens, I'll be there to tell you guys. You guys tell me what you think about this whole debacle, this whole art of war, this whole back and forth, because this is what it is. This is the development of negotiations, and we'll see who really wants it, AJ or Deontay. You guys tell me what you think. But anyway, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and you've guys been Counterpunch. Please subscribe.